All right, gang, back for another video. We are going to talk about deal evaluation. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how to know in 5 minutes if a real estate deal is going to make you rich or poor. All right, and this is going to be the quickest video because speed is the name of the game. Why is speed the name of the game? Well, that's simply because when you're making offers in real estate, especially offers the way we're going to make them, right? Offers low, below market value so that we make money, so that our deals are profitable, so that our wealth is built. In order to win those offers, they got to be quick. Okay, we don't want to be taking all day to make an offer. Speed is going to be the name of the game. How fast we make our offer, how fast we're able to close, which we'll talk about next when we talk about funding. But in this particular email and this particular video, we're going to be talking about how to do this in 5 minutes so that we can get offers out verbally and then using a contract. So, number one, on my screen here is the deal evaluation calculator. All right, I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see the whole thing, even though we're not even going to be using the whole thing today. If you want this deal evaluation calculator, I'm going to attach it below, but I can also give you a link to another video series that I shot talking about how to use the entire calculator. But for this one, we're just going to talk about how to know in 5 minutes if the deal is going to make you rich or not, or if it's going to make you poor. Is it going to lose money? So let's start off with a fictitious deal. Okay. All right, before we get to a deal, let me explain each section. They're self-explanatory, but let me explain. Purchase and rehab costs. All right, you can see here after repair value, we're going to need to know what is this property worth after it's fixed up. Okay, another word for this is comps or CMA report. You can obtain one from a realtor or you can pull them yourself using PropStream. We did not go over this in this particular video series, but you can also use Zillow and other mechanisms to figure out what a property is worth. But again, that's for another video. Rehab budget. I'll break down in this video actually a quick, speedy way of how we determine the rehab budget. But we also have a scope of work guide sheet that we give all of our clients. If you're watching this and you're not a client, I'm sorry you don't have it. So you'll have to consult a contractor to know the actual cost of how much it is to fix it up. These take more than 5 minutes. This one for us takes about 5 minutes itself, finding the ARV. The rehab budget, again, takes 15 seconds using the formula I'm going to give. But to get the actual rehab budget, that's going to come in phase 2 after you're already in negotiations. You can get that deeper information, but I'm going to show you how to get an offer out, again, in 5 minutes. Purchase price, this is irrelevant for the sake of this video, but again, it says purchase price. So this is what you're buying it for. This is not their asking price. We do not, lesson number 1 of this video, we do not care what their asking price is. We absolutely don't care what they're asking. All we care about is what we're getting it for, okay? Selling and commissions, typically 5%. Staging costs, I usually leave that blank. Loan, we can skip this entirely for this video. Maybe we'll go over it next video, but these are the terms we typically get from a lender, and they give this to us every time. Why? Because every time we buy a deal, we buy it using this calculator. And guess where I got this calculator? That's right, from the banks. Over here, this is our max allowable offer. If we're going to flip it, this is the same thing if we're going to wholesale it. All this is giving us is this number minus whatever we want to make as a wholesale fee. So we're going to ignore that as well. This is going to be the big section we're talking about, our max allowable offer. All right, so typically what the banks look at and how they fund is they say, hey, if your deal is below, if the whole deal, the price of the property and the cost of the renovation is below 70% of the ARV, we will give you 90% of the money to buy it and 100% of the money to flip it. This is how we've been able to scale our businesses using that formula right there. Now, when loans were a little cheaper and interest rate weren't so high, they actually allowed us to do this at 75%. But right now, banks have been conservative and they're at the 70% mark. So let's start from the beginning with an imaginary deal. Let's pretend we're buying a house and it's worth $500,000 after we fix it up. Meaning all pretty, everything perfect, it's worth $500,000. And it's gonna cost $100,000 to fix up. All right, the formula, if you guys wanna write this down, the formula for how you find out how much it costs, I usually just do $50 per square foot. Okay, so if a property is 2,000 square feet, times $50, that's $100,000 project. Okay, $50 is a pretty conservative number, but like also kind of on the high end. You can definitely get construction for much cheaper. But again, this is a roundabout number to just get an offer out. As we do an inspection and bring in a contractor, we may be able to negotiate down. But this is a quick formula to be able to get offers out. That's all we care about, is getting the offer out quickly. The other things like inspection, finding out how much the scope of work is going to cost, appraisal, all that, that's called due diligence, and that's done after your offer is accepted. Okay, so you want to win the offer first, and then we can dive deeper into the deal. So just a disclaimer, we're not actually just using this calculator to just go ahead and buy it and close. There's due diligence that is required. All right, so purchase price. The number we put in here is the number that we get the offer accepted. The only two numbers that we need right here are the after repair value and the rehab budget. Once these are in, it's automatically going to calculate a number here. Okay, it's already telling us that $250,000 is the top number that we can spend on this property. If the construction was $120,000, it would tell us that $230,000 is the top that we can spend on this property. We can't spend any more. If the ARV, or we get the appraisal, right, and the ARV is actually only $450,000, then we're gonna have to come down on the price all the way to $195,000 if we want it to be funded using these terms, AKA the bank giving us 90% of the money to buy it and 100% of the construction. If you want that, you gotta be below this number. So if somebody's asking $200,000 for the property, we simply offer $195,000 and we don't go, we stand firm on this. That's it. That's the video. Two numbers are input and it tells you how much to offer based on this formula. This is the name of the game. 70% times the ARV, so 70% of the ARV minus construction cost equals your max allowable offer. Very simple formula. Told you this video was going to be quick. That's how you determine how much to offer to make sure that you're going to make money. The further you go over this number, the more money you're going to have to put down, the more money you're going to have at risk, and it's going to dictate your profits. As a bonus, I'll dive deeper into this calculator, okay? So let's say we were to get this thing for $175,000, 20 grand below what it told us to offer. This is a home run deal, I could tell you already, because at the bottom of the calculator, it's telling us how much our closing costs are going to be. Now, again, these are all fake numbers. You would have to find out how much insurance is, how much title is, what's the property taxes, which $900 is pretty low. Let's just say it's $5,000. Appraisal fee, underwriting fee, points, which is the commission you pay to the lenders for giving you the money. You're going to need $77,000 down payment. Oh, no, you're not. I put $50,000 instead of $5,000. Long day, guys. You're going to need $32,000 down. $32,000 down payment plus closing costs. And it's telling you that, and this also calculates how long it's going to take you to do the flip. So it's taking the monthly payment, multiplying that times 12. That's why it says $60,000 cash needed. I like doing this to be conservative. We can even change this to 6 months, just so you have reserves in the account so you never get caught not being able to pay your mortgage and they foreclose on the house. So this is telling you that down payment and closing costs is 32 grand. You're going to need 48,000. And if you put 48,000 into this deal, you're going to make 100. This is a home run. You put 48 in, you make 100, aka 50 in, 100 out. You're doubling your money. Home run deal. This deal will make you rich. 10 deals like this a year will make you rich. How often do you find deals with numbers like these? Not very often. So here's how we can find out deeper if the deal will potentially make us poor. Well, if the deal starts off like this, right, but instead of getting it for 175, you got it for 225, you can still see here that it's going to cost you 56,000 and you're going to make 48,000 profit. That's still a pretty safe deal. It's not bad. But keep in mind, the bank's not going to give you 90%. So you're going to have to put more money down. The bank is going to say, we might give you 80%. So now you're putting up 77,000 to make 50,000. Still a good deal, but more money is at risk. Okay, so as you dive into this calculator, when you download it and you start using it, you'll be able to manipulate it to actually match the numbers that you're getting from the bank and that you're getting from title and all the quotes that you're getting. You'll be able to put in here and really determine safely, is this deal going to be profitable or not? Now, this is specifically for flips. There's other sections here that talk about if you want to refinance it or rent it out. We're not going to get into that in this video because it's fairly complex and I wanted this video to be short and sweet. I just want this calculator to help you get offers out at scale. I want to help you get offers out quickly so that you can make 1, 2, 3 offers every single day to increase your chances of getting one accepted and closing your next deal in 90 days. If you refer to our last video, we just showed you how you can get thousands of leads flowing into your pipeline. So you're going to need to be evaluating those leads and getting offers out quickly to determine who's serious and what's an actual potential property you can buy. This calculator allows you to do so without having to go to a whiteboard or use a calculator on your phone or miss certain numbers that you otherwise would have missed trying to keep them in your head or write them down. This calculator already has them for you. All you got to do is fill in the white boxes. All right, when you get good at it like me, it'll take 5 minutes. You first starting, it might take 15 minutes, but once you get to your 4th, 5th, 10th property, you'll be able to knock this out in 5 minutes. But what I can guarantee you is that beginner or not, finding the after repair value, finding the rehab budget, and making an offer based on this section over here is going to take you 5 minutes or less. It's extremely easy. You can even go off the Zestimate, right? If it's fixed up, the Zillow shows a range, it shows a high range. You could just use the high range and plug it in to come up with an offer. Now, do I recommend that? Not necessarily. I like to be a little more diligent and pull real comps. The definition of comps, I guess, is another bonus. The definition of a comp is the average of 3 or more properties within a 1 mile radius that have sold in the last year. 1 mile radius, 12 months back, sold, not on the market, not offer accepted, not under contract, sold. You take the average of those 3 and that's going to give you the comps. Now, for the sake of the ARV, we want to take the higher end comps, the comps that look like our subject property after it were potentially fixed. All right, so I hope that helps. So we're finding the ARV, the rehab budget, it's dishing out a number, and we are making an offer below that number to ultimately negotiate and come to this max allowable offer so that we can get funded 90% of the money to buy it and 100% of the money to fix it up. That is how you evaluate deals fast, under 5 minutes. That is how to know within that 5 minutes if a real estate deal is going to make you rich or poor. Okay, so again, on this same deal, if the ARV was only 400,000, you can see immediately if we got it at 225, the profit would be 1,130, which is too close to zero for me. This deal will make you poor because if you go 1 month past 6 months, you are now in the negative 1,700 to be exact. So again, this calculator really breaks down and gives you all the detailed numbers to make sure that your deal is going to be profitable even in a worst case scenario. Instead of what we typically do when we're excited about a deal, we do it in our phones, we write it down, we do the math, and we're always, because we don't have the guidelines of the calculator, we're always going to do a best case scenario, which then puts us in a vulnerable spot to be able to lose money due to excitement, right? It puts us in a position to be let down. All right, so this is how you use the deal evaluation calculator. Like I said, I've attached it in this email for you to download. I hope this video helps so you can start getting offers out at scale. You have your brand, right? You have deals flowing in. Now you can make offers in 5 minutes and be getting them out to potential sellers so you can buy, wholesale, or list someone's property. In the next video, I'm gonna break down how to fund these deals that you get under contract after you've made an offer. We're gonna talk about how to get them funded every single time. We touched on it a little bit here using this formula. I'm going to elaborate, and I also have a very special gift in the next video, next email, so make sure that you watch that video when it comes. And again, for more content like this, YouTube, Instagram, at Art Morrison III. You can even follow our company, United Home Relief, as well. And as always, peace and love. Appreciate you for being part of the United Home Relief family, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.